some of the challenges of filming with a baby?
What were some of the challenges of filming with a baby? I'm not gonna even front like, we have a great nanny. And I mean, whenever I can pry him away from you, it's been pretty much a breeze for me.
I'd say.
Yeah. I probably changed 2 diapers.
I was just
in a
gonna
year.
say probably about 2, maybe 3, maybe.
A couple of PPs, about 1 booby. I think I'm at my limit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did good.
Didn't get on this time.
I did.
Yeah.
I definitely did.
Okay.
It's getting real steamy online because Nelly's ex, Chantel, just dropped some straight-up shocking receipts that got everyone talking. She didn't just throw shade, she pulled out the whole folder. Screenshots, timestamps, and a location tag that lines up exactly with Nelly's tour stop? Yeah, she came fully strapped with evidence. And here's where the drama explodes. As everyone already knows, Nelly and Ashanti recently secretly tied the knot. They've been flaunting that fairy tale vibe like everything's perfect. But forget about honeymoon bliss. This might turn into a breakup real quick, and they haven't even hit 2 years yet. So when Chantel dropped these bombshells, the timing, way too perfect. It's giving calculated revenge. Now here's what's got fans losing it. After the whole thing went viral, Nelly's reaction, or lack of it, basically made things 10 times worse. Folks are now convinced that Ashanti is already trying to distance herself, maybe even prepping to leave him for good. But that's not even the juiciest part. Chantel didn't just imply cheating, she laid out the entire play-by-play. We're talking late-night texts, hotel confirmations, everything all lined up during his tour dates. This wasn't no quick mistake. It's looking like a full-on affair. And to make it even messier, rumors say all this was happening while Ashanti was at home with their newborn baby. This is wild! The internet's on fire, and Chantel really just flipped the whole situation upside down. All right, get ready and lock in, because what's coming next is straight up wild. And let's be real, it's not even that shocking that Nelly might have been out here doing Ashanti dirty. Why? Because people already spotted cracks in that marriage way before Chantel dropped a single screenshot. This drama's been bubbling under the surface for a minute now. Everybody knows Nelly and Ashanti have a long, complicated history. They've broken up, made up, and even circled back for what was supposed to be their fairy tale ending with a low-key wedding that had fans rooting for them again. But lately, that fairy tale vibe is looking more like a PR move, trying to patch things up just to keep up appearances. And Chantel's bombshell didn't come out of nowhere. She dropped it just weeks after the couple's reality show aired. And that timing, way too strategic. That show wasn't giving love and chemistry. It was giving tension, awkward vibes, and straight-up miscommunication. Instead of showing off a strong bond, it exposed a relationship that seemed like it was barely hanging on. Nelly didn't come off like a doting husband. He looked cold, short-tempered, and honestly, like he's not even on the same page as Ashanti anymore. Fans saw it immediately. And one moment in the show had people doing double takes, a scene where Nelly was getting ready to perform at the presidential inauguration. Sounds like a big deal, right? But behind the scenes, it was messy. Ashanti clearly wasn't comfortable with the whole thing. She had real concerns, and when she tried to talk to Nelly about it, she says he completely brushed her off. No empathy, no support, just straight dismissal, like her opinion didn't even matter. But hold on, it actually gets way worse. In another scene from the reality show that had fans heated, Nelly straight up tells Ashanti he has no plans to help out with her baby until the child is potty trained, talking, and walking. No jokes, no sugarcoating. He really said that until little Kareem can speak up and handle his own business. He's sitting this parenting thing out. Now pause and really let that sink in. He's basically leaving Ashanti to carry the full weight of parenting by herself. All day, every day, while he's out on tour, posting up like he's still living the carefree bachelor life. Like, what? And the way he said it, it didn't come across playful, sarcastic, or even lighthearted. It sounded like a man who's already made up his mind and ain't planning to change it. Dead serious. You could feel it wasn't a joke. It was cold and dismissive, like he didn't see himself as part of that responsibility at all. So when you mix that attitude with all the cheating drama and everything else that's already blown up, this doesn't look like a rough patch anymore. It looks like Ashanti's out here raising a baby and trying to hold the entire marriage together on her own. That's a lot for one person, no matter who you are. And yep, it gets even messier. In the next clip, Ashanti opens up and says that Nelly doesn't even get up at night to help with the baby. Not once. She's up alone, night after night, doing it all while he sleeps through it like nothing's going on. Not even once! And you'd think, at the very least, he'd show some kind of guilt for it, right? But nope. Nelly went the total opposite route. Instead of apologizing or owning up, he starts bragging about how he sleeps through the night like a champ, calling himself a good sleeper, like that's something to flex about while his partner is up alone every single night, handling everything. But then it gets even worse. He doubles down and straight up says that it's Ashanti's job to get up and take care of the baby, like it's not even up for discussion. No teamwork, no compromise, nothing. Just a full-blown, outdated attitude like parenting is only the woman's role. The way he said it, you could feel this wasn't just some heat-of-the-moment argument. It sounded like a belief he lives by. Now, it's not just emotional neglect fans are seeing. It's physical, daily parenting being dumped completely on Ashanti. And people are starting to ask the real questions. Was Nelly ever really ready to be a husband and father? Or did he just want the image of a family without any of the work that comes with it?
How is it that you just sleep through when he starts crying?
Do y'all really be up at night? I heard about it.
You know what? It's absolutely ridiculous that you'll still be dead asleep and he'll be mad loud. That's ridiculous.
You know? It's a gift, I guess.
Why is that a gift?
I'm blessed with that.
No.
I'm gonna take you back to this conversation we had. Before you kicked me under the table, I said, baby, I give you the world. I just ain't changing no diaper.
Oh my.
It's wild, because by this point, fans were dragging Nelly all over social media, and the backlash hit fast. Reports started flying that their marriage was already in serious crisis mode. And honestly, these rumors didn't just come out of nowhere. They'd been floating around for a while. But once the show aired and people saw how he really treats Ashanti when the cameras aren't polished and controlled, it hit different. They tried to clean it up with a joint interview, hoping it would chill things out. But that only made things messier. Instead of calming the storm, it made people side-eye them harder. Forced smiles, stiff energy, awkward pauses, and Ashanti barely even looked Nelly in the eye. That interview didn't help at all. If anything, it just confirmed what a lot of people were already whispering, that this marriage might be barely hanging on by a thread. When they were asked a simple question, what were some of the challenges of filming with a baby? Ashanti's face said it all. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And just when it felt like things couldn't get more chaotic, Nelly's ex Chantel popped right back up, this time with some serious new allegations. She's claiming Nelly's been out here cheating on Ashanti throughout his entire tour. And if you've been keeping track, he's been on the road for weeks now, with even more shows coming up. But here's the part that really shook fans to the core. Chantel alleges that after almost every show, Nelly's got a new groupie waiting backstage. And not just once or twice, she says it's been happening consistently, like a routine. And she didn't just drop that out of spite. She hinted that people close to the situation know exactly what's up. Some of them, they're talking. It's not just her word anymore. And if you've ever seen how wild tour life can really get, you know this ain't far-fetched. There's heavy drinking, partying all night, sometimes even other substances floating around. And once those stage lights shut off, things get real reckless. So when Chantel came through with these claims, fans didn't brush it off. They were like, this actually adds up. It didn't feel like she was just being bitter. It felt like she was exposing something that's been going on behind closed doors for a long time. And according to her, this tour, it ain't just about the music. It's been about everything else too. And none of it looks good for Nelly. It's packed with women, a lot of them. And let's not forget, Ashanti wasn't exactly jumping for joy when Nelly first told her he was heading back out on tour. In a clip that's been making the rounds, she straight up says she didn't think it was fair for him to leave her home alone with their newborn while he's out traveling the world, doing shows, and living it up like he's still solo. But that's just what played out on camera. Behind the scenes, insiders are spilling that her real issue ran deeper. It wasn't just about the baby, it was about trust. Because Ashanti knows who she's dealing with. She knows Nelly's history. And the second he started talking about tour buses, late nights, and life back on the road, her instincts kicked in fast. And honestly, who could blame her? When a man with Nelly's reputation is surrounded by groupies and wild parties every single night, it's not about being insecure. It's about patterns. It's about recognizing what's happened before and feeling that pit in your stomach because it's probably happening again. And now, looks like Ashanti's gut was right on the money because Nelly's ex, Chantel, came back swinging, this time with receipts. She posted screenshots of DMs allegedly between Nelly and one of his groupies where he told her to pull through like it was nothing. And y'all, the internet went into full meltdown mode. The messages weren't vague. There was no way to twist it or pretend it meant something else. It was clear. It looked like a man making private moves while his wife was at home with a baby. These messages weren't just friendly. They were bold and flirty as ever, with Nelly allegedly inviting this woman to come see him right after a show. And what made it even messier? The location she mentioned lined up perfectly with one of his recent tour stops. So it's not like this was pulled out of thin air. This had receipts to back it all up. For Ashanti, the whole thing is just flat out embarrassing. While she was at home, healing and taking care of their newborn, Nelly was allegedly out here being reckless, doing whatever he wanted without even trying to cover it up. And from the way folks are talking, this wasn't some deep, secret scandal. Nah, it looked like he wasn't even trying to hide it. But hold up, because here's where things start to get complicated. Not everybody's sold on Chantel's motives. Sure, some people are clapping it up for her, saying she's doing what needs to be done and exposing who Nelly really is behind the scenes. But others, they think this might have nothing to do with protecting Ashanti and everything to do with unfinished business between Chantel and Nelly. Word on the street is that Chantel still feels burned after Nelly allegedly promised to marry her, only to leave her hanging in the end. And now that he's living a new life with Ashanti, complete with a wedding and a baby, it's got people wondering if Chantel's really just trying to blow up his happy home. So, yeah, the DMs might be real, but the reason she dropped them, that's where things get murky. Because here's the real kicker. Chantel used to cover for Nelly. Back when he was being accused of seeing multiple women during previous tours, she kept it quiet. Now, it looks like she's flipping the script. And let's be honest, this whole situation is screaming like Nelly just can't stay focused when he's on tour. The minute he's out in those streets or up on stage, it's like all bets are off. Y'all remember what went down back in 2018 when Nelly's name got pulled into a major legal mess, right? It was all over the headlines, and it started when a 21-year-old college student named Monique came forward with some deeply disturbing claims. According to her, everything happened just before a Florida Georgia Line concert. She had just caught one of Nelly's performances at a club in Auburn, Washington, and afterward, he allegedly invited her to an after-party. Now, that might sound innocent on the surface, until things got real dark once they stepped onto that tour bus. That's where, according to Monique, the whole vibe shifted. She says Nelly brought her to the back of the bus, and that's when things allegedly went from friendly to straight up disturbing. Monique claims he started touching himself right in front of her, without asking, no warning, just out of nowhere. But it didn't stop there. She went on to accuse him of assaulting her, and then, to make it even more unsettling, she says he begged her to stay with him for the weekend afterward like nothing even happened. When she made it clear she wanted to leave, Monique says it didn't end quietly. According to her, Nelly and his team didn't just let her walk away. They forcibly kicked her off the bus. And while she was being escorted out, Nelly allegedly threw a single $100 bill at her, like that was supposed to make everything better. But it didn't stop with just Monique. Things got even more serious when two more women came forward, both choosing to stay anonymous, going by Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2, and their stories added even more weight to the situation. Jane Doe 1, she was a U.S. military service member stationed in the UK. She says back in 2016, Nelly invited her and a friend to a VIP section after one of his shows in England. But instead of a fun night out, she says things took a turn. While they were there, she claims Nelly touched her inappropriately and tried to stop her from leaving when she attempted to walk away, creating a moment that felt threatening and unsafe. Then Jane Doe, too, came forward with her own disturbing story. She said she met Nelly during a meet and greet in Essex, and later on, he allegedly invited her to his dressing room. But once she got inside, things took a serious turn. According to her, Nelly started pleasuring himself right in front of her, then tried to rip off her top and kept forcing her hand toward his private area. She says when she kept refusing, he got aggressive, clenching his fists and saying, "I'm just frustrated. I'm not used to not getting my way. Just do it." So yeah, when you put it all together, Nelly's track record when it comes to respecting boundaries, it's messy, to say the least. The man's been moving reckless for years, and the idea that he might be cheating on Ashanti, it doesn't feel like a stretch anymore. It feels like a pattern. But here's the twist that really has people talking. Chantel, the same ex who's now airing him out, was once his biggest defender. Back when these serious allegations first hit the media, Chantel stood 10 toes down behind him. She wasn't just quiet, she was loudly backing him up, going out of her way to discredit the women who came forward. She called them liars and said she was with Nelly on the dates and at the locations those women mentioned. Inside dressing rooms, backstage areas, even on the same tour bus. She went on to say, there are women dealing with real issues, and for the first time, people are listening. There's finally a chance for real change. But when people lie, all that work gets discredited, and it makes it harder for real survivors to be heard. At the time, Nelly didn't just thank Chantel privately. He made a whole public show of his appreciation. He was praising her loyalty, showering her with love, and promising her the kind of future that made it look like he was ready to finally settle down. In his own words, he made it sound like Chantel was the one he was building a life with. He once said, "I would not want my life to not have Chantel in it. We've been seeing each other for 5 or 6 years. Anytime you can connect with somebody like that, it works out for the long run. She's sweet, beautiful, and the more we got to know each other, she's just as beautiful inside." And this wasn't just some light compliment or casual shout-out. Nelly was talking like he had found his forever. It sounded like he was saying, "I found her. She's the one." He painted Chantel as the woman who had held him down through everything, the one who stuck by his side through all the ups and downs, including the darkest moment of his public life, someone he saw himself marrying, building a future with. And when you think about what Chantel did for him, defending him while his name was tied to serious allegations, standing in front of the cameras and calling those other women liars, it's not hard to see why she believed every word he said. She wasn't just playing the supportive girlfriend, she was riding for him all the way. But now, looking back, it all hits different. Because not only did Nelly not follow through on all those promises, he flipped the script entirely. He went right back to Ashanti, reignited that old flame, got married, had a baby, and acted like Chantel never existed. Like all those years, all those words, all that loyalty wiped clean. And that's exactly what makes Chantel's decision to expose him feel deeply personal. This isn't just about infidelity or screenshots anymore. It's about betrayal on every level. This ain't looking like some heat-of-the-moment meltdown. It's giving revenge for years of betrayal. Chantel didn't just wake up one day and decide to go off. Nah, this feels like a villain arc in full effect. The same woman who once defended Nelly like her name was on the line is now the one tearing down every wall around his perfect image, and she's doing it with receipts. Now we're seeing it all. Tour bus secrets, late-night groupie moves, and that loud silence coming from Ashanti. It's painting a picture that ain't so cute anymore. This doesn't look like a relationship hitting a rough patch. This looks like a full-on collapse. And if Chantel really sat on this evidence for months or even years, just waiting for the perfect time to unleash it, then this wasn't just exposure. This was calculated payback. A move meant to hit where it hurts the most, right when it all looked like a happy ending. So now, everybody's asking, is this Nelly's final strike? Or is Ashanti about to shock the whole world and stand by his side again? You know Nelly's probably sitting somewhere thinking, it's cool, we'll bounce back. We always do. But from here, that fairy tale they sold us might have already turned into a nightmare. Let us know what you think in the comments. Should Ashanti leave or stay? And while you're here, Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and tap that notification bell so you never miss the next drop. Catch you in the next one. It's only getting messier from here.